It's the first review of 2025, and today we're going to be talking about Image Comics from the Horizon Experiment series, Motherfucking Monsters. Now, the title alone caught my attention. Of course, let me know it's going to be something different than what I was used to, and here lately, Image has really been probably, in my opinion, the company of 2024 between G.I. Joe and everything they're doing with Spawn and Hack Slash. There's so many great titles that they have. And I think they have Hack Slash now. But what this is it's from the Horizon Experiment. The Horizon mission statement is an initiative to create familiar stories with minority characters. I guess it started where they were talking about a debate when Idris Elba was being considered for James Bond. And, one of them pointed out, it's cool that, we're bringing more characters of color into these roles, but we don't want it to just be a race swap and a cheap version of something that there already is. We want to create these characters and give them their own unique characters, stories, origins within these familiar tales and these familiar tropes. And so they put together a few stories. Just an example, one about a Chinese James Bond, or a Muslim John Constantine, or a family of werewolves of East African descent. A reverse Indiana Jones of Latina heritage, and this book, which is described as an Evil Dead for black nerds. The first thing that I noticed is I got the feeling from this as I got from the first time I saw the cartoon The Boondocks or Chappelle's Show. It was something that was very familiar and grounded to my experience as a black man in America. Something that was like, whoa, they're putting this out on Front Street. This is something that is part of our community that, you could tell it was written by somebody from the black community, and it has something familiar in it. And all of these characters are people that I've known, from the black nerd protagonist JJ to his friends, and it really starts as with typical horror movie fare. You meet this pizza delivery guy want to make a delivery to this frat house. He's kind of weirded out, but it's a big delivery, and one thing leads to another, and who you thought was going to be our main character is not. And he is violently dispatched, which is something that you see a lot in horror movies. You have this kind of red herring of you meet a character, and that's instantly the first kill. And then we cut to New York and Brooklyn. And JJ is back from college, he's catching up with old friends, and there's this divide because he was already a lot different because he was into comic books and nerdy stuff. But now he's gone off to college at a predominantly white school, and his friends are feeling this disconnect. And there's this tension and drama and this pressure for him to represent where he came from. And so he takes them to his college to get to know the campus and let them know, hey, I'm still the same JJ. And they run into this frat guy who invites them to a frat party that night. And they're apprehensive at first, but they decide to go. And you come to find out that this is not a normal frat house. I'm just going to give a general rundown because I don't want to ruin the details. But this frat house is dealing with the occult and this ancient evil book, something like the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead. And what they're using this book for is to do almost a ritualistic killing of all of these um, of minority students, and it's like this master plan it's like a cult mixed with secret societies. Not only does the black protagonist live, which is a trope of the black protagonist, the black characters always die super early in horror movies, but not only do they live, but they are going to be the hero of the story. And JJ, who is the nerd, who is the guy who is kind of the push around, ends up becoming a leader in this quest to put an end to this evil secret society that has all of these different motivations. And the banter and the back and forth, it is not written from a place of unfamiliarity. It was written by black people, representing the black experience in the conversation and banter, and it's mixed with a lot of humor and a lot of action. I will say the comic style, I'm not a big fan of. It's kind of a grotesque adult swim style of cartooniness, but while it's not my favorite style of art, I still found it enjoyable. It still added to the story. I would have preferred something more realistic, but that's the beauty of comic books is that there is no two books that are the same. And so I really enjoyed that. And then as we get to the end of that story, which is going to be continued, we start with chapter one, Finders Keepers. And this is the reverse Indiana Jones, featuring the Latina characters, protagonist. We meet her where she is, you know, out gardening with her relative, and she discovers an ancient arrowhead and a burial site. And her relative scolds her and says, "No, put that back. We're to keep these sites sacred. We're to keep that. We're not going to be disturbing the graves. We need to treat our ancestors with respect." And that really, it seems like a small thing, but you can see that sets a tone for her whole life's work as an archaeologist, not to pillage these sacred sites and artifacts, but to restore them to their origins. And we meet her after, she's coming back to her village, and it's after some kind of excursion, and you find out that she had captured this ancient uh, amulet that is key to protecting her village and saving her village from impending doom. And it is her mission, along with her friend who is a seer, to get that relic back to where it belongs to save that community. And and so that is Finders Keepers. It was a little bit shorter story. Says it's going to be continued. This is just the number one. Uh, the books that we have here, like I said, you gotta look here at this back page. We have The Manchurian, which came out in September. The Sacred Damned, which came out in October. Moondogs in November. Motherfucking Monsters in December. And Finders Keepers will start with its own book in January. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. I think this is a cool series. And one thing they make a point of is that if you like any of these stories, get the word out, buy these books, because what they're going to do is they're really looking at pre-sales and to see which of these titles they really want to commit to. And so if this sounds like a book that you want to see continued, go check it out. Motherfucking Monsters, Image Comics. And show them that it's going to be something that will sell and it will move off the shelves so that we can get a continued series. And I like the fact that they are letting these writers take things into their own hands, giving them a chance to spread their wings and tell these individual stories and their own twist on familiar tropes and stories. So that's my thoughts on Horizon Experiments Motherfucking Monsters #1. I am going to be pre-ordering and sticking along for the ride and making sure that this and at least Finders Keepers, I want to see those two continue, and I'm going to be looking for the other titles as well. So if you guys have read these, tell me what you guys think of them in the comments. Let me know any other titles that are under the radar that I should know about. And go look for this at your local comic book store. And if you don't have a local comic book store, I always suggest my friends at Coffee and a Comic. They ship nationwide. They have great deals, especially on shipping. Everything comes safe and secure, and you can see how secure everything comes on my weekly unboxings Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Mountain Time on this very channel, where I do my weekly unboxings. So I'll see you guys later. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.